findings by both the Ombudsman and the Coroner, and now the PIC recommending charges against officers involved in the tragic death of Roberto Curti, that since that tragic event, not a single officer involved has been suspended, and indeed at least one has since been promoted.
Well, Mr President, these matters, as the honourable member would be aware, as we all were made aware, is that the PIC has recommended to the DPP that the DPP are to consider the matters that have been raised in the release by the PIC. The Police Integrity Commission, as the member is well aware, does not fall under my responsibility as Minister for Police. But I think, in fairness, the DPP should be given an opportunity to consider the evidence that has been put by the PIC to the DPP for them to consider. And in fairness, it's also appropriate for me to put onto the record that despite the Greens, who aren't great supporters of police, the fact is that none of these police officers have been charged. They are not at this stage facing criminal charges. Therefore, it would be, I think, premature, as the Greens are by their very questions, suggesting that they should be suspended before any person has been charged with a criminal offence that may well proceed through to court. These matters are currently being considered. If the information that the PIC has distributed early this week in relation to referring the matter to the DPP, these matters are being considered by the DPP. Well, as the honourable member rightfully draws to my attention, it is a double standard by the Greens, and it is important that that all people recognise that in relation to this, there is a due process. There is a process that needs to be followed. The so-called great advocates of due process, the Greens are heralding it from every opportunity that they can in this place and outside. But of course, now it seems that we have a double standard in relation to the New South Wales Police Force. We all understand the sensitivities of this matter. We all understand the need to have transparency, and that's why the government has in fact supported full examination of these matters through the coronial process, and of course the Ombudsman as well. The New South Wales Police Force has responded to the comprehensive report by the Ombudsman in relation to this matter and has put in place, if not already adopted, all of the recommendations. There are a number of processes that have been adopted by the New South Wales Police Force in relation to it, but of course that doesn't satisfy the Greens, that doesn't satisfy the position that they take in relation to this. Let the record show that they want people, in this case police officers, suspended before they're even charged, before the DPP, who will be deciding whether to prefer charges against these people or whether they should be going to court. They want to preempt that by actually having these police officers suspended from their duties. I find it a remarkable position in relation to the position of the Greens on this issue, given their so-called advocacy in relation to due process in the past.
Mr President, could the Minister please elucidate his answer by informing the House if he's had any discussion with the Commissioner about the prospect of suspending officers, given the findings and given the fact that the allegations extend to serious crimes such as assault, affray and perjury?
Point of order is that is a new question because it asked for information which was not sought in the original question. In other words, he was asking for details of any conversation which the Minister may or may not have had with the Police Commissioner.
Thanks for your help, John.
Thank you, Mr President. My question